Okay, you should have downloaded this organizer for properties, and I'd like you to just copy it down. It's a little easier to do it this way. So order for the commutative property, order of values does not matter. So example, let's take number 1. So we're going to say A plus B equals B plus A. So there's one example. Second example. So I'm going to say 5 plus 3 equals 3 plus 5. Third example. So those are the addition ones. So number 3, when we multiply A and B, we could have B and A. Another example, last one, 6 times a negative 2 is equal to negative 2 times 6. Okay, so when you look at that property, if you take a look at it, A for number 1, A is first, and then B is second. But then on the other side of the equal sign, they're saying B plus A. If you take a number and substitute it in, you're going to get the same value on both sides. So like number 2, where we have 5 plus 3 on the left-hand side, it equals 8. And on the other side, it does equal 8 over there. Okay, so let's look at the associative property. These should be review ones. So grouping of values does not matter. So for example, number 1, I'll try to do the colors for you. Let's say A plus B, and we'll say plus C, equals A plus B plus C. Take a look at that one. Notice the only thing I've changed, they're in the same order. So A's first, then B's second, and then C's third on the left-hand side. If you look at the other side of the parentheses, A's still first, B's still second, and C's third. All we did was group them differently. So the same thing, if we use numbers for those, they would equal each other on both sides. They have to. Okay, so number 2, we're going to say A, B times C equals A, B, C. Again, it's the same order. Okay, so now we're going to look at the identity property of addition or multiplication. So basically this one, it stays the same. Stays the same. An example would be, I'm going to say A plus 0 equals A. Start with an A. I add nothing to it or a 0 to it, and it's still A. The second one, we're going to say A times 1. It still equals A. Okay? Let's look at the inverse property. Opposites. Using opposites to cancel a value. So example, we'll say 8 plus, we use negative 8 equals 0. I'm using the same colors now. And then number 2, we can say 4/5 times the reciprocal 5/4 equals 1. And we'll write this on here. Reciprocal. Okay, so it equals 1. The next property is going to be the zero product property. So product means to multiply. So basically multiplying by 0 always equals 0. Okay? So for an example, we say 17 times 0 equals 0. We could take something like 5x minus 1, and we're going to multiply that by 0. It's still going to equal 0. The next property is distributive property, which we're going to definitely practice pretty soon. It is multiplying a value to an expression inside parentheses. So an example, 2 times x plus 7. Normally you would have to do what's inside first, but you can't add x and 7. So you're going to take that 2 and you're going to distribute it to the first term. So that's 2x. And then you're going to distribute that 2 to the 7. So it's really 2 times a positive 7 gives you a positive 14. I'll give you another example with negative. So we have a negative 6, x minus 3. Okay, I try to do inside first, but we can't. So negative 6 times x is negative 6x. This is a negative 6 times a negative 3 is a positive 18. Okay, so these are our new properties. The first one's called reflexive property. It's a value. Oh, that was horrible. Okay, a value. Oh, it's still bad. Let's see if I can scroll down a little bit so I can make it a little bit better. Maybe not. So I'll put it here. A value will always equal itself. A equals A. So example, 16 equals 16. Number 2, 7x equals 7x. Number 3, 4y squared equals 4y squared. Okay, symmetric property is if A equals B, then B equals A. So it's like a if-then statement. Okay, let's try that again. So the symmetric, we got interrupted by the announcements. It's a if A equals B, then B equals A. Okay, so an example would be if x, let me fix that. If x equals 3, then 3 equals x. Another example, if 5x equals 30, then 30 equals 5x. Okay, your transitive property, this one is if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So it's got like 3 parts to it. So we'll say number 1, if 4 plus 3 equals 7 and 7 equals the square root of 49, then 4 plus 3 equals the square root of 49. Okay, so the closure property we'll discuss in class. Make sure you study these properties because I want you to be ready for an activity. So study and practice those properties, and I will see you in class.